All right, good morning, everybody, and happy Tuesday. Let's get this day going. I think we are very close to the end of this very sharp oversold rally in equities. And, we'll only know in hindsight for sure exactly when it's over, but I do think we're getting real close here. It's possible that we've already put the top in. We shall see, but we will measure and map this, and that's really all we can do. Remain on our toes. The trends have clearly broken. We'll quickly walk you guys through that as well here to update you that. And then for those of you guys that are Market Rover members, we're going to go into this in more detail in about 20 minutes from now in our weekly live scanning session. So let's get started again. Good morning, everybody. This is our Set the Market morning call. Serge Berger here from thesteadytrader.com. We're going to spend the next 10 to 15 minutes together going through the top couple of things on my notepad. We do this every morning, Monday through Thursday at 9 o'clock Eastern time, so 9 o'clock New York time. And that's the plan here for today. If you are brand new, please do subscribe to the channel, and please, as always, anyone give us a thumbs up like in the video. That allows us to alert you in real time when we go live, and also allows us to continue to be able to do this this morning show, because it does take quite a bit of resources and planning to do this for everyone here. So hopefully it's helpful for everyone. So top three things. We are going to look at the equity levels, the S&P, very obvious resistance areas. I want to talk about Palantir, which should get plenty of people to perk up from their coffee mugs. Then we will look at Apple, and quite frankly, if there's anything else you guys want to go through this morning, let us know. But a lot of things look the same, right? And that's kind of an important note to make this morning, that a lot of things are trading in tandem. We can also look at gold quickly. Again, we've been looking at a lot of that. Benita, no, we cannot put the Market Rover member session link in here because this is a public thing. We can only send it to you directly. If you need to send it, be sent to you, check your spam. It most likely was sent to you twice. Otherwise, reach out to our support team, and they can send it to you between now and 15 minutes from now when we get started. But we cannot put it here publicly because this is that's a members webinar only. We can't allow non-members to be in part of those sessions. All right, let's talk about what's going on here. First of all, as far as the S&P goes, and then we'll look at Palantir. I've got a few observations there I want to go through. But the S&P 500, as we've been talking about now for some time, particularly for the past week and a half, has now reached, for the most part, kind of the area of resistance where we think we're going to start to see trapped buyers react. It is certainly possible that we have a little bit more upside. We cannot rule that out. But I do think we are at this area. And if you're here for the first time, what you may want to kind of take away from here as far as the technicals go here is that there's a lot of psychological levels. So some of you might remember, back last November, so just a few months ago, how, the narrative was American exceptionalism, and everyone, not everyone, but, the narrative was that you should sell all your non-U.S. stocks. And that's pretty much was the peak of the market. I wouldn't be surprised if that peak of the market or ish lasts for 5 to 10 years now. International stocks are beating the living daylights out of the S&P. And the S&P has now a lot of trapped buyers up there. So the positioning is a very strong thing in the market. And we've received plenty of, I'm going to say, hate mails from people over the course of the past 9 months, from people who were just, believing in the narrative of things like NVIDIA and other things like that and ignoring positioning. But positioning really in many ways is like the only thing that matters in certainly the very near term, but also possibly up to the intermediate term of, a few months. And if you have a lot of trapped buyers that chase the market after the election on November 6th, then these people are now slowly getting back to maybe not quite break even, but almost break even. That is probably going to be where they start to take a lot of profits, or actually not profits, but scale out of their positioning. So that's why we think it's limited in terms of what the upside is here for the S&P. In fact, we still think there's a better than 60% chance that we see lower lows in the S&P over the course of this year. Again, the timing here is unclear. We first need to see the next leg lower and kind of see this the broadening of that. But it could be imminent. We could be here right now already at resistance. Maybe it takes another few days, a few weeks. We just don't know. We need to see sort of the sort of the bearish reversals, if you will, first. What I can tell you, and again, we're going to talk about this in much more detail in the Market Rover member sessions here in a minute. If you look at, we map every single sector, every single asset, class, and many stocks, like thousands of stocks, from their trending perspective. And if you look at the sectors right now, we still have most sectors in bearish trends. We have a little bit of a reprieve in financials. They're currently back into a bullish trend. That's a green background color. But, we actually think that is going to be finding resistance as well. But we do have a bullish trend right there. Utilities, of course, which are more bond proxies. But for the most part, the important sectors that carry the market, like technology stocks, the XLK, and the other things that have been carrying the S&P for so many years, they are now have broken their trend. They broke their bullish trends in early March. Then, of course, we had a 20% drop, and now we're bouncing, but they're actually now slowly going into bearish trends. That's we haven't had bearish trends in technology stocks since 2022. So that's kind of what's going on. Again, we're going to talk about this in much more detail in the Inner Circle member session in about 10 minutes or so. Let's talk a little bit about Palantir. If you are a Trade Ops member, so if you're in our Trade Ops rooms, I just posted this chart in there, this chart here, and I'll sure make it a bit larger. This chart here, and again, if you're a Trade Ops member, you can go check it out there as well. I've already put it into the Buzz and Banter room. I labeled the post as "Spot the Odd One Out," and what I'm referring to is Palantir. Now, Palantir is a company that, from a holder's base, it has a lot more followers, if you will, on the retail trader front than on the institutional front, which part of the reason is valuation. I don't know what the other reasons might be. I think Palantir is actually in a really good industry, cybersecurity, and I think it's a good company. I don't know if the valuations make sense. I have a hard time determining, to be quite honest with you, but I do notice that this morning it is certainly sort of the odd one out. And the stock pre-market here, I'm going to quickly give you an actual update, is trading down about, 8% or so. So that's still accurate. But notice the volume, right? Now, this tells you that this is a name that's very retail driven and very algorithmically driven. Now, we'll go through the charts here in a minute. So if you are loving Palantir because your neighbor loves it and half the people on Twitter love it and every Reddit board loves it, there's a couple of important things I want to point out. I do think the stock could go higher, but I think you have to be very open-minded as to what's going on in that stock right now. And there'll be opportunities. I think there'll be big opportunities in this stock, either on the short side, quite frankly, if it's double top, or then again on the long side. So right now we have a critical few days in Palantir, but notice this morning it's the odd one out, not only in the fact that the stock is down 8%, that's not such a big deal, that's a volatile stock, but notice the volume. I mean, at the time I printed this morning, this was like 20 minutes ago or something, it was trading 7 million shares in pre-market. So if these numbers are correct. So that's a big move from a volume perspective. And again, it tells you who's involved in this name, right? So I think that's an important thing to understand. Let's look at Palantir quickly. From a trending perspective, and again, we're going to spend a bit more time on this over in the Market Rover member session in a minute. The stock remains in a bullish trend. There's no doubt about it. In fact, we received another trend-following buy signal in just a couple of weeks ago. The stock now, of course, is up. Was up 35% into the print. We don't hold swing trades through earnings, so obviously we wouldn't be in it now on the pullback this morning. But that was a nice trade. What's more important, I think, is kind of where we are right now, looking back. So I drew this earlier for a little video that I made that you guys will be able to watch on YouTube, sort of as a recap of what I'm about to show you in a bit more detail. But I think one has to be open-minded now as to what's sort of the next move in Palantir. Again, this morning the stock is trading down 8% on heavy volume. Again, that does not mean really a whole lot in terms of the percentage move, because Palantir does move a lot. In fact, just the other day it was up 7% on Friday. So this is that kind of par for the course. But I do want everyone to be open-minded that this stock could either consolidate here for a little bit and then go higher again, or, again, keep in mind, it could be a double top. We don't know, right? I'm sure someone on Twitter and YouTube knows, right, because they know everything, except how to do research and analyze markets. But be open-minded. It's the year of the trader. Remember, we've been talking about this now since October, call it, early November of last year, that this is going to be the year of the trader. It absolutely is the year of the trader. So if you want to be involved in the markets this year, and quite frankly, I think we're going to have a very different 5 to 10 years now than what people are used to. You need to be open-minded, right? Don't just buy it because everyone loves it. Be open-minded. If this is indeed a double top, and again, I have no positioning. I'm 100% open to what might the next move be, right? It could be one hell of a short. I don't have a confirmation yet, so I'm not involved. I'll keep you guys updated for those of you that care about this. But just keep in mind that this is a mover. So from a momentum perspective, this is a great stock to trade, long or short. Just to give you some perspective, this stock dropped about 37, call it 40% over the course of 2.5, 3 weeks in February. So that's before the tariff stuff. So it almost halved, right, over the course of a couple of weeks. It can do that on the upside. It can do that on the downside. The stock just doubled off the early April lows. So it's a great trading stock. What I would really encourage you to do is not get married to it, meaning don't just believe in the narrative, in the story, because someone on Twitter or YouTube or Reddit or whatever you're watching is doing it. It's very easy for clickbait, right? But for the most part, they have no clue what they're doing. They're just out there marketing a bunch of BS. So just keep that in mind. But I think it's going to be a great opportunity to be long, short, whatever. Again, it's a momentum stock. So if you're using our trender indicator, this is a great stock to use it on, especially now that earnings are passed. So we're going to keep you guys updated on this. And then I want to quickly touch on Apple. I want to touch on Apple because it, to me, is very much representative of what the S&P 500 kind of looks like. It may be giving us a preview. Again, we haven't seen a bearish reversal last yet on the S&P. It seems to me likely that we will, but I do think Apple is acting a lot cleaner than the S&P does. And so for right now, I would respect the levels up here. So, if anyone here is looking to trade Apple on the short side, there's a very clear level. It's about $213, $14. If you have the stomach to go short and buy puts or whatever, if not, then obviously leave it be. But I think it's got very well defined risk here in shares of Apple. So that's kind of what I want to go through here. Pretty quick and dirty here. Not quite 15 minutes here this morning. I'll leave it open for another question or two if you guys have anything. But I would just be open-minded. That's what I keep repeating here pretty much every morning this year. Because if you're open-minded in this market, I think it's a very, very fruitful market. It's a very it's an opportunistic market. But if you're stuck in a certain attitude or belief, right, then this is a very difficult market, because you have to be open-minded, and volatility will destroy a lot of confidence. And so a lot of people are not doing well year to date because they're not actually never knew how to learn how to trade. They thought they were trading when they bought 5% dips in the S&P for the past 15 years. But when that stops working, and ultimately it does stop working, they typically don't know what to do anymore. And we're seeing that a lot. And we have a really good pulse on a lot of the retail trader and the investment advisory firms because we talk to them every single day. So be open-minded. That's what I can tell you. If you tend to be bullish, be open-minded to maybe that it may not be that bullish. And if you are typically bearish, maybe be open-minded that maybe things could be bullish, right? So you got to just really be open-minded here, and I think that's really important. Quickly on gold and silver, I think gold and silver, I'm just going to quickly leave you with this chart. I still like the way silver acts. I actually, in full disclosure, bought some silver futures again this morning. I closed them last week. Didn't like the way it was acting. Added some again this morning, so I'm a little bit long silver futures. That could mean being long SLV. It's all the same thing, right? But I do want to quickly share with you the chart that I showed yesterday actually, which is this one here. Give me just 1 second. And it's the gold to silver ratio. This is a 95-year chart. If you guys want to go grab this chart, you can go on our YouTube channel here. Go into the what's this thing called? At the top of the YouTube channel, it's called like community or something like, or comments or something like that. It's like where you can post stuff. You can grab the chart there if you want to. This is a 95-year chart of the gold to silver ratio, and what you can see is that gold in its relationship to silver is once again at the upper range of where it's traded for the past 95 years. Again, that does not mean that gold is a short or silver is a screaming buy. It just means that the ratio is not that attractive to be long gold versus silver. So if anything, I would be the opposite. So for me personally, I'm a little bit speculatively long silver. I'm very long gold, have been since 2023, but I've hedged my gold exposure about 2 weeks ago. I mentioned it real time, so I'm actually over hedging it. So I'm actually net short gold just from a hedging perspective, but I haven't sold a penny of gold. I'm not going to. I'm going to stick with it, but I'm hedged right now because I think gold's going to go through a consolidation phase. So hopefully that's helpful, folks. Please subscribe to the channel. Please, it's very important. Tell everyone you could possibly can about our Set the Market morning call here. If this is helpful at all, also please subscribe. Please give us some thumbs up like. We'll see you guys back here tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock New York time. And all of you guys that are Market Rover members, will see you in just about 2 minutes over in the member session. See you guys there and have a great day.